If you like what you're about to hear, please consider leaving a review, or liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing on YouTube. I don't have a Patreon or enable ads for this, so if you really like Oldex, please do contact Games Workshop on social media or via email and tell them you want me to narrate their audiobooks for realsies. Oldex, Codex Chaos Space Marines, 4th edition. Pages 61 to 63. Summoned Demons. Summoned Greater Demon and Summoned Lesser Demon. Written by Gav Thorpe and Alessio Cavatore. Narrated by R.J. Bailey. With great thanks to Alistair for donating this copy of Codex Chaos Space Marines. Summoned Demons. The Warp is the realm of demons, as well as psychic predators such as enslavers and vampires. Formed of psychic energy, demons are manifestations of chaos, given presence within the warp, and capable of assuming semi-corporeal form in the material universe. Some demons are weak, flittering things, created from base emotions, but with little personality or direction. They are creations of unnamed fear, general dread, and foreboding. Though persistent, they lack the power and direction of the demons of a chaos god. Each chaos god is a coalescence of countless souls, greater than the sum of its parts, but capable of investing its essence into the creation of demons. Many of these demons, known as lesser demons and demonic beasts, are nothing more than appendages, wholly slaved to the will of the Chaos God, and capable of little more than acting on their rudimentary instincts. Other demons, the greater demons of chaos, are capable of independent thought and action, deriving their power and personality from their Chaos God, but also one step removed, continuing their existence within but also apart from the Gestalt whole. Where the boundaries between real space and the warp are exceptionally thin, such as in warp storms, demons can manifest themselves with bodies of psychic ectoplasm. The demon can escape the warp fully, feeding off its energies whilst maintaining itself in the material universe. This can be incredibly taxing for the demon, depending on how strong its link back to the warp is, and usually only a handful of demons can manifest themselves in this way in any one place. Most commonly, the rites and practices of mortal chaos worshippers will allow a few demons to break through from the warp. These summoned demons are not nearly as strong as they are during a demonic incursion, but they still have power enough to do the summoner's bidding for the short time that they are on this material plane. Summoned Greater Demon. Amongst the wide demonic pantheon of chaos, greater demons are the most powerful. These are incarnations of their god, embodiments of everything chaos represents. They are the guardians of the god's realm and executors of his will. Often, the greater demons lead incursions into the mortal world and act as heralds of the powers of chaos to champions and magisters. They have their own ambitions and plans, each contributing a part to the great consciousness that is the ruinous powers. In real space, greater demons manifest as huge, terrifying creatures, capable of slaying scores of warriors and destroying battle tanks. They have strange powers and are virtually impervious to mortal weapons. Summoning such a creature demands a high price, for it takes a tremendous amount of energy for a greater demon to corporealize. The price is always a sacrifice, a living being that acts as a gateway into the material realm. The rampant energy of the demon passing through inevitably destroys this host. As such, the sacrifice is not usually the one doing the summoning. Clad in black and red armor, The Dark Reapers of Elatok Craftworld stood at the crest of a barren ridge. Below them, the forces of the great enemy advanced through the scattering boulders and gullies, their bright armor a stark contrast to the grey ash and rock of this dying world. Lightning danced in the sky, and the wind howled, as the Chaos Space Marines unleashed volleys of bolts, while hurricanes of deadly Eldar shurikens sliced the air. Their exarch directed the squad's attention to enemy soldiers who had flanked the Eldar army through a narrow crevasse. As the Chaos Space Marines emerged from the dried-out riverbed, the Dark Reapers turned purposefully. Settled on their new target, the joints of their armor locking into position to hold them steady against the recoil of their weapons, they raised their missile launchers in unison. It was then that the enemy squad came into full view, an icon-bearer amongst them holding aloft a wicked talisman made from contorted Eldar bones. Even as the Dark Reapers fought against the revulsion and nausea rising in them, reality tore apart. Lascivious shapes, alluring yet repellent, lashed and squirmed within the pulsing miasma, and after a few moments they leapt through. They were female in form, mostly. Their eyes were large and hypnotic, filled with a dark lust that made them glimmer. Their bodies were lithe, gracious, almost serpentine in their movements. The demons had vicious claws, wicked, serrated weapons that were covered in a slick sheen. As the Dark Reaper Exarch fought through his fugue, the demonettes of Slaanesh bounded forwards and were upon them. The demonettes' vicious screams of delight drifted down the ridge to where the rest of the Eldar army battled at close quarters. Attacking, then moving, then attacking again, the Eldar army wove a complex and deadly dance around the Chaos Space Marines. Yet for all of their guile, the forces of Elatok were being pushed back. The leader of their host, a revered autarch who had led them to victory for 24 decades, led the counterattack. The autarch's glowing halberd cut down enemy after enemy, as around him shrieking, bone-colored, howling banshees charged forwards. With the full battle fury of the Aspect warriors unleashed upon them, the Chaos Space Marines began to fall back. While others retreated, a champion of the great enemy stood his ground, his armor carved from pale marble, etched with ever-shifting runes inlaid with gold. As the autarch stepped forward to meet his foe, he paused, suddenly anxious. Something was amiss. The vile champion fell to his knees, dropping the great sword he was carrying. He arched back as if screaming and flung his arms out to his sides. A presence, ancient and terrible, seemed to descend from the skies into his flailing body. With a crack like thunder, the champion gorily exploded with shards of armor and bone scattering across the rocky ground. In the pulsating mass of flesh that was left, something hideous took shape. Jeweled eyes formed, and curling horns sprouted from the remains. Ripped tendons knitted and twisted, forming 4 sinewy arms, ended with crab-like claws. Its pale skin rippling with magical energy, ethereal silks whipping around its body. The Keeper of Secrets rose to its feet and stared down at the autarch with its sparkling eyes. Long-forgotten, forbidden songs filled the autarch's mind. Memories from 10,000 years past flooded up, and the distant baying of a depraved mob swept the autarch away. He tasted blood in his mouth, and it was sweet. He could smell intoxicating perfumes befuddling his mind, arousing feelings he had spent his long life suppressing. Utterly mesmerized and helpless, the autarch could do nothing as the greater demon of Slaanesh tore him asunder with its slender claws. Nonchalantly, the Keeper of Secrets stooped and plucked the spirit stone from the remnants of the autarch's armor. Lewdly, it ran its long tongue over the surface of the stone, tasting the soul within. With a smile, it swallowed the glowing stone, dooming the autarch's spirit to eternal torment. Summoned Lesser Demon. The legions and servants of the dark gods are countless and diverse. These are the warriors, the guard beasts, the messengers, and the tallymen of chaos, the teeming masses of demonkind that exist solely to serve their creator's dreams and whims. The lesser demons and demonic beasts are the armies of chaos, who wage a never-ending war with the hordes of the other gods for power and dominance. Lesser demons are slaves to the will of their master, created and discarded without effort or thought. Though nothing more than lowly minions in the realm of chaos, such demons are nevertheless powerful fighters in the material plane. Their otherworldly nature grants them speed, strength, and resilience beyond that of men. For those with the knowledge and will, it is possible to tear through the barriers between worlds and allow the demons to spill forth. Once they are through, the demon packs fall upon the foe with relentless ferocity, for their time in the mortal world is limited. They crave every moment and experience before their power fades, and they are banished back to the realm of chaos. You have been listening to Oldex, Codex Chaos Space Marines, 4th edition, pages 61 to 63. Summoned Demons, Summoned Greater Demon, and Summoned Lesser Demons. Written by Gav Thorpe and Alessio Cavatore. Narrated by R.J. Bailey. With great thanks to Alistair for donating this copy of Codex Chaos Space Marines. Thank you to Gav Thorpe and Alessio Cavatore for writing the fiction I grew up with. If you've enjoyed this, please leave a review where you found it, or like, share, and subscribe on YouTube, depending how you're listening. I don't have a Patreon or enable ads for this, so if you really like Oldex, please do contact Games Workshop on social media or via email and tell them you want me to narrate their audiobooks for realsies. This production, like all of Oldex, is entirely unofficial and uncommercial, from an out-of-print publication, is a derivative work with all copyrights owned by Games Workshop, and is a celebration of the hobby and lore I grew up with. If you have suggestions for other old Codex fiction for me to narrate on this podcast, you can comment, contact me on Twitter at rjbailey, or email robertjbailey@gmail.com. Links are in the show description.